Mark Zauss here. I hope everyone is doing well. This video here is the sequel or part 2 to the anxiety video that I made earlier. I was going to get this video out a couple weeks later and it took me a couple months later. I do apologize for that. What we're going to talk about is what it's like to have performance anxiety and what you can do about it, where it comes from. And we're going to go over some techniques, some breathing techniques. We're also going to talk about some of the processes that takes place in the brain when we perform, which can cause anxiety. Sometimes when we perform, it could be a new situation or something we haven't done in a while, and there's various reasons we would get anxious when we perform. But the brain can perceive the performance as some sort of threat, like something bad's going to happen, and it can cause this autonomic or automatic reaction. So we're going to touch on that as well. So we're going to review quickly some of the stuff we talked about in the first video. Anxiety is the immediate feeling that we have in the face of change, especially unexpected change, or the feeling we have when we expect something unpleasant. So in the last video, we also talked about how the amygdala gland, the fight or flight gland that's in our brain, cannot tell the difference between reality and perceived reality. And this is proven to be true when we watch a terror movie, that we really can't tell if we're in the movie or we're watching it. So you notice when you're watching a terror movie, you'll get kind of sweaty palms, increased heart rate, sweating, trying to control the character in the movie. So I always use the scene from the Alfred Hitchcock movie Psycho to help explain that. You know, the feeling that you get when you watch the shower scene. So the first time you watch that movie, you might feel your pulse rate go up and you get scared for the person in the movie. And there's a part of your brain that, again, those fight or flight glands can't tell if you're in the movie or you're watching it. So your brain kind of gets hijacked by the amygdala. And on the screen here, there's a graph of the brain. You can see the limbic system, which is the limbic brain over there, is the fight or flight response system, which does include the hypothalamus and the amygdala. And it gives you 3 choices: fight, flight, or freeze. So then the prefrontal cortex part of the brain gets flooded with a bunch of emotions and thoughts, and it has trouble focusing, and it kind of gets hijacked by the limbic brain, by the fight or flight response of the brain. And it can't function. But luckily there are some tools and things we can do about this. So once the prefrontal cortex, the front part of the brain, gets overwhelmed or it gets filled with neurotransmitters or thoughts and emotions, luckily oxygen dilutes it. So there's a way to clear out the prefrontal cortex with breathing. So we're going to go through some exercises and things we can do that's practical, that you can do to help with that, to reduce the anxiety and kind of get yourself back under control. So we're going to talk about a breathing exercise. So the first thing you want to do is sit up straight or stand up straight. Make sure your posture is good so you're not restricting the airflow. And you want to keep your throat open when you take a big breath. So you take a huge breath with your throat open, mouth open, like there's 2 fingers in your mouth. And then exhale. And right after you exhale, you notice you don't have many thoughts. Your mind's kind of clear. It gets rid of the thoughts in your brain, kind of clears out the prefrontal cortex, and that in turn tells the fight or flight glands that everything's okay. So next we will do a breathing exercise. You breathe in for 7 seconds through the nose, and then hold your breath for 7 seconds, and then breathe out the nose for 7 seconds. Then you wait 7 seconds and repeat. And the entire exercise takes 49 seconds. If you do it right, you can do it with a metronome or not. And you can repeat that throughout the day. If you don't have time to do this exercise, you're in the middle of something, what also works is just taking a huge breath. That's still going to give you some relief, and the oxygen is going to clear some of the neurotransmitters out of the prefrontal cortex so you can relax. So one of the ways you could check to see if this breathing exercise is working for you is to rate your anxiety before you do the breathing exercise, and then rate it again afterwards. So if you just use a simple Likert scale, let's say 10 is the highest anxiety, you're most anxious, and then 1 is not anxious at all. So you kind of rate your anxiety before you do the breathing exercise. If it's about a 6 or 7, and then you do the breathing exercise 2 times through as directed, and then rate your anxiety again after that and determine if it's lower or not. I hope this was helpful to you, and I will continue to make more videos as time goes on, and the next video will have more to do with the trumpet and more exercises on the trumpet to actually reduce anxiety, maybe before an audition or anytime you feel anxious. And I want to remind you to, this isn't just for trumpet or for music. It's throughout the day. If you're anxious, you can rate your anxiety throughout the day and use this breathing exercise anytime you feel that you're anxious. If you have trouble or difficulty sleeping, it can help with that too. It can help you fall asleep. Thank you so much for watching my videos and for subscribing to my channel. I do appreciate all of you, and take care of yourselves and be safe. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much.